Hello, this is Mercury Matt Yaden, CEO of Rocky Mountain Pro in Denver, Colorado, here to tell you that you should be tuning in to the Edward Fowler Show, the greatest wrestling podcast in the UK, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube to hear great interviews with phenomenal talent from all over the world. Hello, this is Mercury Matt Yaden, CEO of Rocky Mountain Pro in Denver.
You're listening to the best wrestling podcast in the UK. This is the Edward Fowler Show.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Fowler Show here on YouTube and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I'm just tweeting out something as we speak here. But when I contacted this person, okay, I was not expecting a response or anything like that. I thought he may have said no or not even email me back. But I'm so happy to have him on the show. And the guest I've got on the show today is, he's been in UFC. He does MMA as well, and even appeared at some wrestling events as well. And it's great to have him on the show. Mike the Truth Jackson, welcome to the Edward Fowler Show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Just enjoying the beautiful day right out here in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, good old Houston. Why? It's different, isn't it? Houston. We're just going to find you now, actually. But yeah, it's good to see you on here on Houston, Texas. But how is it for you? How is Houston today?
Nah, man, it's hot. That's what it is. It's always hot, man. And it'll be about this temperature now until about November. Hopefully it cools down a little bit. But, there's global warming is real. And we feeling it out here. So just trying to stay cool, man. I'm inside in this AC right now, though. Yeah,
absolutely. And as you say, it is global warming is real. And I've just tweeted out now on Twitter me that you've now got my full attendance here on the show now. It's all about you. But I mean, you mentioned global warming is a real issue. Of course, your President Donald Trump doesn't want to, go into global warming, but we'll leave that for another day. However, but for right this minute, many people. Well, thank you for retweeting that. I think thank you for retweeting that. For many people who may not know you, of course, you were part of UFC, and you had some great bouts in the UFC over the years. And which one was your favorite to be a part of?
Man, I'm just enjoying the ride, man. To be honest with you, the entire experience is pretty cool. But for me, it's just all about the brand and building it up and to get the eyes on me. And for me, in turn, that puts eyes on a lot of the up-and-coming talent that I'm featuring on my platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And you say that as well. And have you do you still watch the product? Do you still watch it every now and then to see what's happening in the world of UFC as well as MMA as well in what you do?
Man, my life is fighting. So I work for a small promotion here in town called Fury Fighting Championships. We put on, pro MMA fights, mainly here in Texas, but, we expand. We have a show this weekend in Corpus Christi, which is South Texas. We just came back from Lake Charles, Louisiana, a couple of weeks ago. We were making our first show out in Denver, Colorado, here in the next few weeks. But then I work for LFA as well. I'm the LFA's head photographer, so I get to travel the country with them. I'll be in Riverside, California this week, Salt Lake City, Utah next week. So, basically I'm all over the country, and I'm shooting fights. I'm at home covering fights. So, fighting is my life, So, this is just what I do.
Absolutely. And, you also fight as well. In these MMA promotions you go to, and you also take some awesome photographs. And what got you into taking, doing stuff outside of the octagon then?
Yeah, so for me, I started off as a photographer, as a kid, always had a camera in my hand. And then, years down the line, obviously I get into fighting, and I fall in love with that. And so for me, it was just a way to merge two things that I really enjoy and that I love doing. But then I'm also a businessman. And, for me, my mentality is that, you can't fight forever. You have to make sure that you have a backup plan and something that you can, fall back on once, either for those who fighting doesn't work out for, or for those who, once you retire, once you're gone, you need to have something that you can do once, you're done with the combat sport. So that was all I did, I set up a solid business model. What I have going on, I have the photography, I have the interviews and the podcasting, the media personality side as well. Working on some TV shows. So man, I'm doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And do you enjoy doing it all? Do you or is there one particular thing you enjoy doing the most out of all the things you're doing at the moment? Because it's keeping you very busy. And is there one thing you love to do more than the other, or do you love doing all aspects?
Yeah, for me, I enjoy everything under the umbrella. I'm a combat sports media personality. I've been able to sort of create this sort of niche position, that I'm in.
Yeah.
I'd be able to create this and carve my own lane. So for me, I look at it, everything is as one entity. The Mike the Truth, entertainment brand, is one thing. So I just enjoy every aspect of it. The photography, the interviews. I'm just here, man, to display my art. Whether it's the photography, whether it's the fighting, whatever it is, I'm just here to share it with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tell me then, as you heard at the start of the show, of course, this is a wrestling podcast. We love to do UFC. I watch UFC as well, and I'm very familiar with what we do in UFC. And will we ever see you again in the UFC? Because I know, Dana White said you're no longer a part of it.
Yeah,
but I mean,
let me take that up. Let me cut that, man. People keep talking about, what Dana keeps saying, and I've said over and over over the past year. You've not been out with an injury, so you've not been recovering. But people keep talking about what Dana White's saying. Look, man, it is what it is. He's entitled to his opinion, but at the end of the day, like, I'm in the UFC.
Yeah.
So people keep asking about, whether I'm with the company or not. It's like, yeah, like, I don't feel like no one has heard or seen anything saying that I'm cut. It's just Dana White. He was upset. So people gotta, people just need to. I don't even know what people do. It's just a crazy position that people keep asking me about. This Dana White thing over a year later, and it's just like, why don't y'all know this? But whatever. And then I can do about that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's all yours. You can say what you like here on the Fowler Show. There is another topic I want to talk about before we get into reality of wrestling, and that is yesterday. Now, when I was playing this, I was not going to ask you this until I saw this yesterday. But did you see the interview that Conor McGregor did on SportsCenter yesterday?
Yeah, I was able to check that out, and it was interesting. Conor was a little bit all over the place. As far as explanation and things that he wanted to do. But it's Conor's Conor, man. Like, nothing about what he said surprised me or shocked me. It's on par with what Conor does.
Yeah. And do you think we'll see him back in the UFC anytime soon? Do you think they make a comeback?
Yeah, 100%, man. Like the dude, you could tell, even in the interview, like, you can tell that he's a fighter, man. Yeah. Like, the money and everything is gonna have a role and is gonna impact his life. But Conor McGregor is still a fighter first and foremost. And he wants to fight, and he has an ego. Like, that's the thing, is like, the fighters like him, well, fighters in general, but especially someone his magnitude, has a massive ego.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to feed that thing. And so he's been doing what he's doing out on the side, and doing well with his businesses. But he's still a fighter. So you can tell, like, he's hungry, and I think we'll get the. I think the Conor McGregor Frankie Edgar fight is probably the best matchup and fight to make at the moment. I think it's intriguing. I feel you have something where we've seen him, have issues with wrestlers.
Yeah.
Frank obviously he's good striking, but he has a wrestling background. But I just want to see a good fight, and I think that's the fight that make. I think that's the fight to make.
Interesting you say so. So I think if that does happen, then I'm going to bet on that as well and say, yep, we told you so here on the Fowler show to be a great match. So let's make it happen. But I watched. I'm a big fan of reality of wrestling. Booker T's promotion down in Houston. Houston.
Yep.
And I saw that you were there on the Summit of Champions 6, which is now available on YouTube.com. The full event is there, and you were the guest commentator for the first match, I think it was, wasn't it? And you did an awesome job, by the way. And we had on Brad Gilmore on this very show a few weeks ago. And I think you did a much better job than what he did on the shows. And I wish you could be there permanently, but, things happen. But tell me, how did that all happen? How did you, get to be a part of the event? Did they contact you, or did you contact them? How did it all come about? And will we see more of you in reality of wrestling in the future?
Yeah, that was actually my second invitation out. Booker reached out. He's a fan of mine. I'm a fan of his. I grew up watching him. He and my father are actually, they were childhood friends. They went to school together. And that's really more of a coincidence than anything. But he reached out to me, wanted me to come out. They like my style, they like my flavor, they like what I bring to the table as far as the commentary goes, and I enjoy it as well. It's fun to get out there and cause some high flying action.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as will I be back out? Yeah, I expect and I anticipate that to make some appearances here and there. Some little special guest appearances whenever my schedule allows it. But I'm a busy man out over here, traveling the country, doing some cool stuff. So hopefully, when the time permits, I'll be back in the commentating booth.
Cool. Good to hear. And maybe not just in the commentary table, maybe see you on air, maybe as well.
You never know. We never know what the ride entails. But man, we're enjoying it. So you never know. Once this UFC thing is wrapped up, the next chapter may be some reality of wrestling. Who knows?
Yeah, and maybe even bigger and better stuff for you as well. Maybe you can travel the road doing both your MMA stuff and doing some pro wrestling as well. Knocking some people out. Some TKOs.
Hey. It's possible. You never know.
Possible. Who is your favorite then in reality of wrestling? Who do you enjoy watching and seeing when you get the chance to see the product?
Man, there's this little chick, Alexa Garcia. She's tight. Man, Moonshine Mantell. He's a champ. I enjoy watching him. Man, they have a great stable over there, guys. I can list. They have a solid quality product. Their wrestlers are great. They're entertaining. I get to chop it up with some of them backstage. The ones who are personable and want to talk. Some of them cats, they're just angry all the time, and so I don't talk to them much. But they just have a great stable and solid product. And I just enjoy everybody over there. I enjoy the whole show.
That's good too. But you say there's some angry cats over there. But I mean, I bet you can just talk to them and get them in line. Otherwise, you can just TKO them. I think they're more scared of you than the other way around.
And that could be what it is. That there could be a little bit of an intimidation factor when they see me walking around backstage, and maybe they just don't want to come talk to me because they're scared. I don't know. Hey, look, I'm a cool cat, man. I'm cool. So if these guys are listening, whether it's reality or wrestling, wherever I am, come talk to me. Say what's up. I'm approachable.
Yeah, he is approachable. You don't believe me? Go to one of his events. Meet him in person. Go and sign him, and that links in. But the next thing here. Tell my listeners and viewers where they can find you on social media. As for our YouTube viewers, they can actually see your stuff, but just tell my other people who where they can find you and where you'll be in the coming days and months to come.
Yeah, of course, man. You can follow me on all the social media. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat is All the Truth Jackson. Facebook is Mike the Truth Jackson. I have a podcast, of course. You can find that at mikethetruth.com/podcast. It's called The Truth About Stuff. We're on Apple, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all of those. But as far as travels, like I said, I'll be in Riverside, California this week for LFA 74. I'll be in Salt Lake City, Utah next week for LFA 75. I'll be in Nashville. I'll be in Salt Lake City Friday. I'll be in Nashville on Saturday for Submission Hunter Pro. I'm in the Jiu-Jitsu super fight scene as well. So yeah, I tell you, man, I'm enjoying life right now.
Yeah, and you're everywhere. That's the thing. You're everywhere. If you people want to go, you're going to be there. Like you're in Utah, then Nashville, everywhere.
That's the thing, man. I'm across the. I'll be in 2 different parts of the country in 2 days. But for me, it's about building a brand. It's about expanding. It's about name recognition. When I come to these places, they know you have the media personality. I'm coming in here providing great content, whether it be the photography, whether it be the videos. It could be the Truth Food Tour, because when I travel around, I base it on my food, on my travels. So you just never know, man. I just provide dope content, man. I provide a look into my life that is entertaining, and then I think it'll help people out and motivate them and entertain them.
Yeah.
I think entertainment and laughter is a great key to happiness. And so if I can just provide a little bit of that for people every day, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, good. Now, you say you're going to be in Utah and Nashville. Will you be, actually fighting as well, or will you be doing other things outside of the octagon on Friday and Saturday?
I'm still under contract in the UFC. So but like I said earlier, I've been out with an injury.
Yes.
I've been rehabbing that and getting better. I just now was able to get back to high level of training as far as sparring goes. I went out to Vegas to the UFC PI to get looked at and get tests ran to see where my body is physically, to see where I am mentally, and everything is looking good. So we're just picking up the tempo right now, but we don't want to pick it up too much. I was offered a fight on the Argentina card. I want to say back in November. And then that's sort of where all the injuries sort of flared up again, getting to that. So, for me, it's a matter of being as optimal as I can be, knowing that I'm facing a higher level of competition here. So, although to be honest with you, I'll never be 100% again. I think that just comes with fighting.
Yeah.
I want to be the best I can, when I step in there and lay it out on the line.
Yeah, and if you do, of course, return to in-ring competition. Is there anybody who you would like to face?
No, for me, I'm just looking for a quality matchup. There's nobody. Look, man, the roster's deep. I don't even know half these guys. I know half the guys and train with you.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just going out there. Look, I'm just doing this because I love fighting. Nothing more, nothing less. I enjoy the sport. I enjoy the competition, and now I'm fortunate enough to be able to do this at the top organization at the highest level. So I'm just using this opportunity, and to make the best of it and to have fun.
Yeah, that's the main thing. If you're not having fun, then you're in the wrong business, aren't you? Really? And
100%.
Yeah, and people. I've asked people before. Saying about, I've asked people this before about wrestling and about taking bumps and such, and people say, I hate taking bumps. I'm thinking, if you hate taking bumps, then why are you in this business then? You need to go and find something else to do, kind of thing. So it's a bit like fighting as well. I bet some people who do not like to fight do very well in UFC, but they might not admit it to the camera, but inside themselves thinking, why am I doing this to myself?
Right. you have to. I think it's a mix. Some people they're looking at it from the fame aspect. So you have certain people who love attention. They love the attention. They love people watching them. They love the admiration that comes with it. And to a lot of people, like, that's a drug. And you have to look at the cost reward factors. And to some people, although they terribly hate fighting, they love what comes the rewards of it. And so for them, the cost of training and the cost of fighting is worth it when they reap the rewards of the win and the celebration and the finish and things like that. So it's all individual levels and what you're willing to give up for that ultimate prize, that ultimate drug of that winning and that celebration in the UFC.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're looking forward to find out what happens next. And when you were growing up and wanted to be a fighter, did anyone inspire you to be the best you can be? And anybody when you watched maybe? So, wow, I want to be just like this guy or this guy kind of thing. Was there anyone who inspired you or not?
No, as far as fighting inspiration goes, I was always a fan of Anderson Silva. Growing up, that was one of the first fighters. That was probably the first fighter where I was just like, yo, who is that? Yeah. And I'm watching everything about him. I was a fan prior to that. I watched The Ultimate Fighter Season 1. I remember watching live Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner. But even prior to that, when you had the UFC earlier days and Hoist Gracie, I was watching that, man. I was a fan of it. But it wasn't until Anderson Silva came out and decimated Chris Lieben where I was like, yo, I need to watch and see who this cat is. But that got me into the sport itself. But one thing that I realized as far as the training and even teaching, I coach, I come from a boxing, so I've coached people there. But one thing that I've realized and understood is not everyone can do everything, and you have to do what works best for you as far as your fighting style. Yeah. So although people may be a fan of Anderson Silva and want to do certain techniques that he does, not everyone is physically gifted enough to do that. On the flip side, you'll have someone built like Daniel Cormier, who's short, compact, and who's solid wrestling. Not everyone can do that. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to figure out, as far as the fight game goes, you have to figure out what works best for you and what can help you excel. And for me, I'm in the gym training, and my coaches are trying to teach, or I'm going over drilling and things like that, and taking classes, and my coaches are, for the whole class, they're telling us, certain things that we want to do, and I'm just looking like, I would never do that in a fight. Not to say that I'm not going to train it and try it out and practice it, but I know I'm not going to do that in the fight for whatever reason, whether I'm physically incapable of doing that, whether it's not in my wheelhouse, whatever. But I still practice it and try it out. But I just don't. I don't try to implement it in the fight because I understand, me trying this move out, and if I mess up, I know the consequences of that. So it's just growing and getting better. Yeah, everybody. I don't know where I went off of that.
No, it's absolutely fine. And it's awesome to see all these different people now entering different aspects. And one of the true people who crossed over to wrestling from UFC was, of course, the great Ken Shamrock. And do you respect what he did in UFC and what he did in wrestling? And will you be tuning into Impact to see his big return after almost 20 years not being in the company?
Wait, Ken Shamrock is coming back to wrestling?
Yeah. He's
so Ken Shamrock was one of the first guys that I remember crossing over back in the day. That was actually how I became a fan of Ken Shamrock. was when he joined, WWF at the time. There was some other guys. Well, I think Tank Abbott went over. Who were some other guys? Some other big name that kind of crossed over for a little bit in the early days.
I know another guy. I don't know if he's in UFC though, but his name was like Dan the Seven or something like that. It was called.
Oh, there you go, Dan. That was the other guy, Dan Severn. I was because he actually had. I remember he and Ken Shamrock went back and forth. But he didn't like Dan Severn. Like I didn't know who Dan Severn was prior to him coming to the WWF. And I would actually say they were the reasons. They probably got me even noticing what MMA was and UFC was those guys crossing over into wrestling. And then I remember watching like the earlier pay-per-views on like the old Scrambler boxes. And VHS. I didn't have any. My cousins had the VHS tapes. But that was my access to MMA back then.
Nice. That's cool. That's good to hear. Back to 90. Who would have thought, like 20 years ago, DVD and clear pictures weren't out. There's no like HD back then.
It wasn't DVD. It was VHSs back then.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, way before DVDs.
Yeah, DVDs weren't even by the time. Well, no. DVDs came out. Let me see, because I was still. DVDs were out, but fighting I don't think DVDs were out, but fighting the old like fighting videos were still on VHS. It was still more of an underground thing because DVDs were more like big movies. Because I remember the first two DVDs I had was Gone in 60 Seconds and Gladiator. So it was those were the movies that came out on DVD first. But like the bootlegs and the underground sort of. Even like again, MMA at the time was very underground. Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't see DVDs just yet because they didn't have DVD burners at this time. I'm putting it all back in and trying to look at it in chronological order. Mm-hmm. Yeah, DVD burners weren't out, and that's kind of where before there was a production of like sporting events on DVDs, you had it where people would bootleg them and copy them and download them and put them on the DVD burners or to the blank DVDs through burners. But that technology hadn't reached yet when DVDs first came out.
Gotcha. And, back to reality of wrestling then. What was your favorite match on Summer of Champions? Did you stick around for the whole event or did you just do your bit and then...
No. I stay around and watch the whole card. It's definitely... And then, like for me, I get to hang out in the back with the guys. I'm watching it. I watched this one with Booker T, and then I get to see the inner workings of everything. I get to see the behind the scenes, and the funny thing about it, there's a lot of similarities as far as like MMA backstage, as well as the pro wrestling backstage. There's similarities as far as some of the pep talks and conversations with upper guys that are had. So it's fun, it's intriguing, and that's just the way I enjoy those types of things. The show before that one, I got to call, or I get to watch it with Brother Love.
Yeah.
It's just it's a cool experience, man. But as far as my favorite match that night, man, there were so many good ones. The Fatal 4-Way I call was a fun match. It had some exciting at both inside the ring, outside the ring. Told a great story. There was a women's match 4-way that was intriguing. Told a great story. Man, it was like I said, it was just. I couldn't really pick as far as the matches that really stuck out to me because the entire product was solid.
Yeah.
So it all kind of blended together for me.
Yeah. I'll tell you which one I enjoyed. I enjoyed the ladder match. The ladder match on the main event. I think them two matches stood out to me the most, I thought, because there's some crazy things happen in the ladder match. Like holy cow kind of thing, like holy cow moments kind of thing. And definitely the main event,
The main thing was, man, that was I can't remember the guys' name, but I do remember I was very entertained.
Yeah.
I remember when the guys came in the back after the match, I was like, yo, like that was really dope. So no, I do remember the matches. Like I said, I don't remember the names, but it was, man, again, quality product over there with Reality of Wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So then, who would you suggest for me to contact next from your world? You know, let's dive into your world. Okay, with your contacts, who would you suggest me to get in contact next to come on this great show? You know, we've had the likes on, you know, Marty the Moths to Brad Gilmore. We've had on Shane Taylor, Beer City Bruiser, all available. All these clips are available on the YouTube channel, and full episodes are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Just want to make that clear. But yeah, he's thinking about it. Let's see who he thinks.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are entertaining. There's a guy Juan Adams. He's an interesting guy. He's from Houston as well. He's a heavyweight fighter in the UFC. He has a little bit of a connection to the wrestling world. He tried out for the WWE's. They had like a wrestling program,
Yeah.
and I want to say he actually got a role, got a job. But obviously the UFC came calling, so jumped on that. But man, there's so many. I wouldn't even know where to begin, to be honest with you.
Well, you just kind of addressed a name, so I'm going to stick with that name.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. So let's see if we can make that happen here on the Fowler Show through our connection with Mike the Truth Jackson. And again, he'll be in Nashville and Utah. Utah, is that right?
I'll be in California, going back to Cali this weekend. Then next weekend I'll be in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Nashville, Tennessee, eating some delicious hot chicken.
And which city do you love the most to go into? And will we see you in the UK or Europe anytime soon?
Man, I would love to get out there. It's actually on the list of things to do. I then when I don't know. I'm looking at man. They got me traveling everywhere over here, so it's hard to get away. Where is my favorite city? Probably I love New York. Okay. New York is one of my spots to go to and travel. I love Atlanta. It's a beautiful black people everywhere over there in Atlanta. Man, and of course, there's no place like home. Houston, Texas, H-Town. So I love being here, and you know I don't even think I'll ever move. I think I'll stay here for the rest of my days. But I think I'm gonna travel the country a little bit more and see what it has to offer.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully you can bring your brand to the UK and.
Hope so, man. I think we're gonna have to make that happen.
We've tried our best on the Fowler Show to bring you to the best city in the world, Manchester, UK, and you know, will we ever see you know, the UFC back over here? Maybe for a major pay-per-view, because they do come over here. You know, for like fight nights kind of thing, but they don't really do a big, you know, like a big number pay-per-view over here. It's very rare. I got you.
But yeah, you know, man, I would love to. If I got on a fight night out there, that'd be dope. You know, I like the international aspects of the UFC, being able to go into these different countries and to experience different cultures. I would love to, man, come over there and chop it up. And see what the UK, see what that Manchester's all about.
Yeah, exactly. You have to, don't you? And you know, do you watch other sports as well? Do you watch NFL or baseball, anything like that?
You know, I don't. I stopped watching football quite a while ago. For me, it was. Although I understand that, you know, football is the game, it's the violence and that, but they were just making it a little bit too soft. And, you know, obviously we have the Colin Kaepernick situation over here. So, you know, I don't like the NFL and, you know, what they're doing as far as their product. I do like that, you know, they're implementing change a little bit here and there. You know, we have the Jay-Z initiative. I'm a fan of that. I want to see what he's going to do. But as far as sports goes, you know, my number one sport is basketball. I'm a huge fan of the NBA. I love it as a sport, but then the NBA, what I love so much about the organization is that it's really revolved around the players. They give the players they have more leverage as far as things that they want to do. If it comes to social change, and we're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and things like that, the NBA allows their players to voice their opinions, especially given that the NBA is a predominantly a black league, right?
Yeah.
The NFL doesn't do that. And we see what happens in their business model. But like I said, hopefully with the Jay-Z coming in, and we see some change, because there needs to be change over here.
Yeah.
But basketball, love basketball.
And I'm guessing your favorite team would be a team in Houston then with the basketball.
I enjoy the sport. I love the Rockets. Houston, I want them to win. I want them to always do well because hometown.
Of course.
I'm a fan of the sport. I just love the game. If Rockets go out and win, man, I'm happy. If they go out and lose, it sucks, but at the end of the day, it's a game. And they're gonna come back and do what they have to do. So I don't get too much into it for like favoritisms anymore. Growing up, I was a huge Utah Jazz fan, but I was into Karl Malone and John Stockton. I was a LeBron James fan, so I would watch the Miami Heat. But I just love the sport.
Good to hear.
Houston Rockets, let's go.
Houston Rockets, of course. Yeah, of course. A few years ago, the baseball team, the Astros, they won, didn't they? After somebody predicted it.
Yeah, we won the World Series. Baseball was actually my favorite. Not favorite. Baseball was my first sport I ever played. Hindsight, I probably should have stayed in baseball with the no salary cap. And I played growing up. I had cousins and relatives who played professionally and won World Series titles. So in hindsight, I probably should have stayed playing baseball. But it is what it is.
It is indeed, isn't it? It is indeed. And we should make one more shout out to our guest, Mike the Truth Jackson, here on the Fowler Show. Again, you can find him on social media. If you watch this on YouTube, you will see the hand gestures we're doing and everything we're doing on the video format, which is on YouTube for live. And his social media links are also on the video, so you can never forget who he is and where you can find him. Again, he's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even on Snapchat. Many people don't get their Snapchats out, but you do, so we appreciate that.
I put it out because it's the same as the other ones. So, I do what I can. If you're on YouTube, I'm on YouTube as well. You type in Mike the Truth Jackson, you can find me on YouTube. I put out the interviews, and then because I cover a lot of the grappling events and the fights, I'll post the full fight videos and grappling matches on my YouTube. So if you're into jiu-jitsu, if you're into fights, you get those. If you're into to interviews, you get those. Just get content every platform, man. Get something different, something new.
That's good. That's good because you keep reinventing yourself. You keep reinventing yourself and making each different platform must see. Kind of thing. And that's what's best for business. And I like that about you, Mike the Truth Jackson. And tell people why they should go to your website as well, because you do some great things on your website.
Yeah, my website is MikeTheTruth.com. I started this, probably like 8-9 years ago. And what it was supposed to be a blog site that gives you a look inside my life and my interests. So for me, I'm always traveling, I'm always on the road, so I like to put out the content that, especially when I get time. But it's just a lot of content that I'm interested in, and so I put that out. But the number one is for the podcast, MikeTheTruth.com/podcast. But then I sell event tickets as well. So if you're in like the Houston markets or anywhere that I travel and put on a show, you get tickets at MikeTheTruth.com. So it's just a one-stop shop for a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, and I forgot to ask you actually before we end this. I forgot to actually now the MMA fights you go to. I think you own them, don't you? You own the company who does them. Is that right, or do you work with them?
No, I don't own the companies. two things people ever they ask me what I would do, and I always say no. I would never be a gym owner, and I would never be a fight promoter. I think those are two of the most stressful jobs in fighting, and I'm all about keeping my stress levels to a minimum.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. Like I said, I don't. They're not my companies, but I do. I work with them, and I provide a huge service for the companies that I work for.
Gotcha.
With, I should say.
Yeah, and we hope you continue working for him for life, and you have to tell him to come to the UK, because you will get the passionate fans, the Wildy fans you can't find anywhere else, not even in... You have to tell these people to come to the UK.
For sure, man. I mean, I would love to get over there, man. We got to get that UK budget popping.
Exactly. It's like, well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Just stay on the phone, though, because I want to discuss some with you in a minute. But for anyone who's tuning into this, stay tuned in, because in about, let's say, in about an hour from now, we will be live again with another interview. We're doing two tonight, two for two. Not always like this, but the way we've done it is we arranged 2 interviews on the same day. Don't blame me for that. It's the way we did it. Mike the Truth Jackson, I got in contact with him first, so he's the primary one. But the other guys are great as well. The Von Erichs will be on the show as well. Do you know the Von Erichs? Yeah, the new Von Erichs from MLW.
Oh, I don't know about the new Von Erichs. I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah, Major League Wrestling, the best. I think they are the best independent wrestling company on TV right now. I think their product is much better than Impact Wrestling, but I'm sure we can have a good old discussion about which one's better with their production values and all that business. But
sure.
But I know you'll be tuning into Impact to see Ken Shamrock's big return to Impact Wrestling after doing some indie bookings on the outside, but not really been on TV. So it'd be a big TV return for the company. He'll be facing Moose in Las Vegas on September 4th and 5th, I think it is, the TV taping. So it'll be an interesting fight, and I think Ken Shamrock will have his number, because again, he is the world's most dangerous man.
There you have it.
There you have it, indeed. And if you enjoyed this video here, because this is the first ever video you get a complete interview here on the Fowler Show on YouTube. If you enjoyed that, let me know what you think about it. Let me know any ways you can think I can improve on to make it even better here on youtube.com/Edward Fowler. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, thank you so much for listening to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify /The Fowler Show on them platforms. Make sure to give us a rating out of 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and make sure you subscribe to us if you're new on there. Also follow us on Spotify as well, because more followers and more subscribers we get, the bigger the show can get, and the bigger amount of people can tune in each week and each episode, I say. 3 episodes a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And here on YouTube, you get live and free, starting from right now. So there you go about that. The next episode will be dropping soon. And if you're waiting for the next episode to drop, you don't have to wait any longer, because on Wednesday, we've got another MLW superstar who wrestled in WWE last year against Leo Rush. Ricky Martinez's interview drops on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. There'll be a few clips going up right here on YouTube on Thursday of this week, so stay tuned for that as well. But again, thank you to Mike the Truth Jackson for coming on the show. And will you come back on again?
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me.
It's good. It's good to have you on the show. And until next episode drops, enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening, morning, or afternoon. And if you watch this on YouTube, then go to my next video for the Von Erichs interview. It's coming up in about 1 hour from now. So see you in an hour, everybody. Wow, so I need to do something else. Hang on. We're still live. Of course we are. Because we got to do something. We'll be ending this in a moment. So, yeah, make sure you do like and subscribe here on youtube.com for more content.